couldn't own any weapon you wanted to own. From the very beginning, the Second Amendment existed. Certain people weren't allowed to have weapons. So the idea...
Yep, it's been a while. So I'm going to cover Joe Biden's ignorant remarks regarding the Second Amendment. I'm only going to do a little bit of it, so let's get to it. People owned cannons. I know that, Sniffem Joe is a little senile and, pretty much only reads what's given to him. But I got to say, if AR-15s are anywhere near close to cannons were still available to own by anyone. And they're still available to own today. So the difference being is what's lawful and what's not. But that's about actions. And you're talking about regulating things you know nothing about on the basis of what you're being told. By the way, you're an idiot.
So the idea is just bizarre to suggest that some of the things we're recommending are contrary to the Constitution. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic. Let me say it again. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic, and it's an international embarrassment.
It's an embarrassment on the Electoral College on how you managed to become president. It absolutely is. I'm not going to get into the election thing, but however, if you're going to claim that America has a gun violence epidemic, America has a stupid epidemic. America has a criminal epidemic. What they use and how they use it has nothing to do with what I use and how I use it. Okay? Again, you're an idiot.
So I asked the Attorney General and his team to identify for me immediate, concrete actions I could take now without having to go through the Congress. And today I'm announcing several initial steps my administration is taking to curb this epidemic of gun violence.
Did this man really just say that he's contacting people about things they can do, about taking people's firearms away and banning and regulating things he knows nothing about without going through Congress? People, we didn't elect a president. We elected a king. We elected a tyrant. This is ridiculous. Again, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. I mean, he honestly couldn't be any less of an idiot now. Seriously. And if people, give me a hard time about, tearing this senile old man to shreds, just remember, you're probably one of those people that gave Trump a hard time for all 4 years. Every day. Every single day, you probably complained about something about Trump. So I make one complaint about Biden under his administration, in which we're 3 months in. I make one complaint. Alright? This is a gun owner reacting to the bullshit nonsense that this idiot's coming up with.
Much more need be done, but the first, want to rein in the proliferation of so-called ghost guns. These are guns that are homemade, built from a kit, that include directions on how to finish the firearm. You can go buy the kit. They have no serial numbers, so when they show up at a crime scene, they can't be traced.
Joe? I know you're not thinking for yourself, but let me run this by you. These are not ghost guns. These guns are somewhere. Seriously. And some of these ghost guns have serial numbers on them. They're just, personal. Like Kentucky Ballistics GSD-9. It says Kinfolk. And some people have, serial numbers on them with their names on it. But here's the thing. You don't want to regulate these ghost guns, and you don't want to rein in on the so-called proliferation. You want to get to the ammo, because a gun is nothing without the ammo. You want to get to the ammo, you want to get the high-capacity magazines. You want to get to that. But first you're going on with the guns because no one that voted for you is smart enough to know the actual problems with this whole thing. I'm a gun owner, and I know some of the problems. But here's the thing. The guns, they still... Jesus. It's stupid. Just because it's not serialized or licensed does not mean that firearm is not investigated or the ballistics and forensics is not investigated. It's stupid. You are pretty much saying law enforcement is too stupid to do their job. That's pretty much what I think. And Wasn't he about defending the police anyways? Again. And again, he's an idiot.
And the buyers aren't required to pass a background check to buy the kit, to make the gun. Consequently, anyone from a criminal to a terrorist can buy this kit in as little as 30 minutes, put together a weapon.
Joe, again, you're not thinking for yourself, but then again, I don't think you ever were known for thinking for yourself. First off, you're thinking that everyone that purchased these, kits, which they are. I built one myself out of individual parts. I built one, and I didn't do it out of criminal intention. I did it because a handgun that I ordered from Brownells just wasn't coming in fast enough, so I decided to build myself a handgun. You're thinking that everyone who purchased these kits, you're thinking that they're purchasing these firearms. Joe, these legally are not firearms. They're just not. And on top of that, if you're concerned about these so-called ghost guns, what are you going to do about 3D printers? Nothing. The fact is, these firearms, they're easy to make at home. You need $300 in a 3D printer, and then you can get $40, $80 of filament, and then you can make your own gun. You can make your own frames. And they don't need serial numbers either. Joe, the problem is you're not talking about anything that's actually a problem. The problem is you don't know anything what you're talking about. You're talking the same emotional bullshit everyone expects you to, and you expect us to listen to you and take you seriously. Dude, we just don't, okay? You're looking at ways of going with your plan without going through Congress. That's what a tyrant does, okay? Now, I know the checks and balances are there so that we could, like a lever, like we could pull it and that tyrant gets out of there. But that's just not the case. He's still there, man. Alright? And again, Joe, you're an idiot. Again.
I want to see these kits treated as firearms under the Gun Control Act, which is going to require that the seller and manufacturers make the key parts with serial numbers and run background checks on the buyers when they walk in to buy that package.
This is taking too long, and I'm really not, making it the 10-minute mark, so I'm just going to cut it short here. And I've got the rest for it later if I ever feel like I need to do a follow-up on this. But Joe, these are not guns. They're not legally defined as firearms. And on top of that, people are buying them online. They're buying them online. Okay? If you want to treat these, kits and ghost gun kits as firearms, first off, you need to change the legal definition of what a firearm is, which is difficult because the ATF isn't even agreeing on what's a pistol, what's a short-barreled rifle. Okay? You can create the legal definition for handguns and frames, and then you can change it the next 4 years. Okay? But here's the thing. You're not maintaining consistency with the argument. These are not firearms. Okay? They're not legally defined as firearms, so what's the point of going through a background check? And on top of that, these people are buying them online with their credit cards. And yeah, it's kind of dangerous putting your, credit information online, and some sites don't have strong security on them. But here's the thing. That's besides the point. But listen, Joe, these are not firearms. Okay? They're kits, alright? And on top of that, there's plenty of other websites selling so-called kits that aren't 80%, and they're not ghost guns. They're like 80% complete rifle kits, and you can purchase them. They're like $80 to as expensive as $1,000. But Joe, that's not the point. You can't legally define something as a firearm when it's not a firearm. They're kits, yes. And some people buy the frames. You can't get into this, man. You're too stupid. You don't know. You don't know. You're a tyrant. You're a loser. You're an idiot. It's pretty amazing that you're president right now. But I feel like they handed it to you. But listen, man. Listen. Come on, man. Listen. All right. Come on, Joe. Listen. These people purchasing these, terrorists are not inclined to build their own guns. Criminals are not inclined to build their own guns. guys like me, law-abiding citizens, are inclined to build our own guns. And the reason being is because we respect firearms and the laws. But the problem is criminals aren't buying firearms. They're stealing them. They're purchasing them off the black market. They're not doing a 4473. They're not filling out a background check. They're not getting their fingerprints checked. And they're not getting their name run in the system. Okay? Listen, if I was in Chicago and I wanted a gun, I'd go down the street corner and say, hey, what you got, man? I got 200. What you got? All right? Listen, man. Listen. You're an idiot. Sit down and let the grown-ups talk. You senile, having ass motherfucker.